for Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding.
Greg Gutfeld just set off a firestorm of commentary live on television, zeroing in on none other than Congressman Adam Schiff.
Congressman Schiff, how are you?
Shame, shame on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Gutfeld.
So, Congressman, I got to ask, how did it feel to have your ass chewed out like that in front of your colleagues?
Oh, well, I will say this, Mr. Gutfeld.
Now, if you believed politics couldn't get any more dramatic or ridiculous than it already has, think again. It doesn't matter whether you've been glued to every development or just catching occasional headlines. This is one thing you won't want to overlook. Think about Schiff, the man at the center of endless controversies and political pageantry, was just hit head-on by Gutfeld, and in the most public fashion possible. Gutfeld didn't hold back. He went straight for Schiff's track record, from his fact-free theatrics to his relentless craving to remain the centerpiece of political chaos.
Having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
It felt more like a political roast, but with real consequences hanging in the air.
The curb, and the irony is superb. He went crying to mommy on an app run by Chinese commies. Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think not.
Gutfeld seemed absolutely determined to dismantle every storyline Schiff ever crafted. And he did it with a mix of comedy and critique that was both cutting and entertaining.
M's pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured, but to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch.
Understand, this wasn't just some surface-level jab. It was a methodical dismantling, showing how Schiff sometimes came off more like a theatrical playwright than a functioning legislator. And Gutfeld exposed all of it with a smirk that felt like justice flashing across your screen.
That and the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
So, if you find this kind of biting yet engaging content worth your time, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button, because your support keeps this channel thriving, and you won't miss a single second of what can only be described as pure gold. Subscribe, and let's keep unraveling the drama together. All right, let's dive straight into what has to be Greg Gutfeld's ultimate roast of Congressman Adam Schiff. Now, Greg's known for his razor-sharp wit, but this segment took things to another level entirely. You could practically feel the burn. Through your screen, it all kicked off with a signature Gutfeld quip, the eyes. Yep, those unmistakable eyes of Schiff's that seem locked in on breaking news 24/7. Greg joked that Schiff's eyes had this default setting of mild panic, as if he's constantly startled by his own shadow. But that was just the beginning. Greg wasn't about to ease up. He stormed through Schiff's long-running list of political stunts like a wrecking ball. Take the Russia collusion saga. For example, Gutfeld didn't see Schiff as a legislator, but more like a director staging a never-ending political soap opera starring himself.
Fortunately for Adam, not even Mitt Romney could help him. Everyone knew there weren't enough votes to convict. Even the media, their only way out of this hell, pretending that Mitt was a hero. Poor Adam. He really thought he had him. Well, we've talked about who won the impeachment trial. Now let's talk about who didn't. As I've said before, don't think the Dems aren't going to stop trying to find dirt on Trump. They'll look anywhere. Hell, they'll go to a local high school if they thought they'd...
That's where the comedy really kicked in. Schiff thrived on these dramatic tales of deep state conspiracies without a factual foundation, like promising a fireworks show and showing up with a single sparkler.
Schiff champions transparency, all the while saying the whistleblower might not testify because it's a safety concern, he maintains, because we all know CIA agents can't protect themselves against non-existent threats, or that our government can't protect him from your Aunt Sally.
Our primary interest right now is making sure that that person is protected. Indeed, now there's more than one whistleblower that they are protected. And given that we already have the call record, we don't need the whistleblower who wasn't on the call to tell us what took place during the call. We have the best.
Greg didn't let up, stressing how Schiff just wouldn't stop. Even after various conspiracy theories unraveled faster than Grandma's old knitting yarn, Schiff kept pushing, confident as ever, like a magician, swearing he could pull a tiger out of a hat while hiding a deck of cards behind his back.
The full details about the conditionality of either the military aid or that meeting with the Ukraine president. It may not be necessary to take steps that might reveal the whistleblower's identity to do that.
Not necessary, so much for transparency. But like everything, the Dems haven't thought this through. So not only are you going to impeach Trump, you're going to do it in secret, in the dark, reversing an election based on hearsay from some anonymous guy you will never, ever see who has ties to...
Let's be real, Schiff often came off as a performer trapped in his own script. Gutfeld described his public appearances as episodes of a stale series long past its expiration date. What really stood out for Gutfeld was Schiff's unshakable confidence despite repeated missteps. It was like watching someone double down at a blackjack table, clueless that the house had already emptied his wallet, as Gutfeld put it. Schiff was that guy thinking he could win it all back with an Uno card. Almost felt like yelling, "Seriously, Mandu, you want this to be your political legacy?" But Greg wasn't done, not even close. He went on to outline what he called the Schiff cycle, a repetitive pattern of bold claims, drama, and then vanishing promises of blockbuster revelations that shockingly ever showed up. It felt like that friend who's always on the brink of a breakthrough but never quite gets there. Then, Gutfeld moved on to Schiff's so-called highlights, pointing out how his breathless announcements of secret evidence belonged more in a Hollywood script than on the House floor. To Greg, Schiff was a headline chaser with a flair for drama, but a shortage of facts. It was like getting the movie trailer without the movie. And his speeches. Gutfeld didn't let those off the hook either. Sure, Schiff could tell a story, but Greg described his speeches as more sleep aid than rally cry. You couldn't help but recall Gutfeld's DMV analogy, where each word dragged on like you were waiting for your number to be called dot, while Schiff talked of impending doom. Viewers were flipping channels or doom-scrolling on their phones. What gave Greg's roast an extra kick was his critique of Schiff's style. He didn't just attack Schiff's politics, he hit on the optics too. Those suits, like something selected by an anxious CPA, and ties that screamed second place in a high school debate tournament. You can just picture it, can't you? Schiff looked like he'd vanish into the town hall drapes instead of standing out in Congress. Gutfeld's bit about Schiff's startled owl expression was another winner, saying Schiff's face never matched the moment, always a blend of urgency and confusion. Like he was surprised by his own press release.
People on the planet, and I guess he makes it work, Tyrus. But
does he?
But isn't it? I mean, I don't want to get mad about this because he's such a joke. But the fact that he isn't going to be really get any punishment.
Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mr.
That expression became a calling card, making even minor matters look like DEFCON alerts. As the takedown rolled on, Gutfeld couldn't ignore Schiff's supposed transparency and truth-telling image. According to Greg, Schiff pitched like they were VIP access to the next Cold War. It was like reality TV got mixed with national intelligence. And Schiff fancied himself executive producer. One of Gutfeld's best hits was comparing Schiff's political method to a Ken Burns film. starring himself because apparently Schiff didn't speak to voters. He narrated for posterity. Having a professional voiceover artist for his speeches felt more plausible than the stories he told. Then came the whole victim act that Schiff seemed to lean into every time things got uncomfortable. Here was a guy who spent years spinning grand tales on primetime, and yet looked shocked when people questioned him. Gutfeld made it sound like Schiff was genuinely stunned when the spotlight turned from hero to hoax. And to wrap it all up, Greg let his satire fly, highlighting just how predictable Schiff's drama cycles had become, from fake alarms to another round of conspiracy breadcrumbs. It had all faded into background noise. If you catch my drift, Greg noted how Schiff kept shouting from the rooftops, hoping each cry would be bigger than the last. Still, the crowd had heard the same act too many times, so you've got to ask in a world where fiction often overshadows truth, what kept Schiff going? Was it blind optimism, a craving for drama, or just a knack for drawing eyes every time he grabbed a mic? With Gutfeld leading the charge, we witnessed the unraveling, the comedy, and the live-action parody of Schiff's entire career unfold on screen. Now over to you. We always talk about how sharp Greg's punchlines can be, but which moment hit hardest? For you, sound off in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing what made you laugh the loudest.